Have you ever woke up and thought, just let me get through today? Looked at that person in the mirror and said, I don't even know who that is anymore. You have been so busy surviving that you forgot who you are. You forgot how to dream. You forgot how to do anything more than survive. If that is you, I'm just Janae, and this is Dreams Don't Expire. All that you want is still out there waiting for you. Dare to dream again with me.
Right, today we are going to talk about something that I think is so important and so overlooked, and it's the perfect time of year to talk about it. So we're going to talk about self-care, especially with the holidays and everything. I think self-care gets pushed aside, so we really need to focus on it right now as the stress levels get high. And so let's talk about that real quick. Why is it important that we have self-care? Well, we've all been on an airplane, or a lot of us have, right? And that stewardess gets up there and she's telling you the safety things of being on an airplane. And she tells you, if they start losing altitude or whatever, and then as those air masks come out, if we are traveling with a child, we put it on us first, not our children first. Well, as a mom, that feels all kinds of wrong, right? But it's accurate, because if I don't put it on me first and I pass out due to lack of oxygen, my kids never get it. So if I put it on me first and I know I got the oxygen coming in that I can help take care of my kids, that's obviously the right way to go. And that makes sense. It totally is logical. And I get it. But then when it comes to the rest of life, it is really hard to put ourselves first. So let's really talk about why it's important in daily life. For short term, it is going to reduce stress. It is going to increase your self-worth. It's going to help build feelings of belonging. Long term, oh my gosh, it's going to help you manage chronic conditions, illnesses, whatever. It is going to help actually prevent disease, which is huge. You're going to have reduced stress all the way around, healthier relationships, because let's be honest, if I'm taking care of myself, I'm not going to be so stressed. I'm probably going to be a little bit better than my husband and my kids, so our relationship's better because I'm not just getting upset over little things, right? It's going to improve job satisfaction, which we all need. It is going to reduce burnout, which is going to get really high over the next month. Getting through the holidays always it makes burnout happen because we are so stressed. And so this is going to be important. But it also improves our quality of life, which we all know is huge. So those are why it's important. We want to talk about what self-care really is, because we all have an opinion of what it is. Well, here's what it's not, but people think it is. It's not binge watching a TV show. It is not going and spending a bunch of money shopping, retail therapy as they call it. That's not really self-care, but we like to think it is. Going on these lavish, expensive vacations. Again, not self-care, because it is going to put us in a bind financially, a lot of people anyway. Eating whatever you want to eat, right? Oh, I love this, so I'm going to eat as much of it as possible. If it's not healthy for you, it is not helping you out, but we think it's making it better. And I think we also start trying to just perfect ourselves. Again, not self-care. What is self-care? Well, it really is eating healthy, right? Making sure you get the sleep, exercising, taking time for yourself in a healthy way. So I'm not going to go binge watch something. For me, the thing I do that takes time for myself in a healthy way, that is really self-care for me, is going for a ride up in the mountains or going for a hike up in the mountains, and just that peace and tranquility that comes with that. The amazing things I see, it always resets me. it always rejuvenates me and takes me back so that when I come home, I am sitting at a better place to handle all this stuff. So find something positive. The thing I have to say is, though, whatever it is, even if it's something good for you, anything done in excess becomes bad, right? Reading, I love to read and I love to, learn stuff. But if I'm just sitting learning all the time and doing nothing with that knowledge, that was not beneficial. That was really, again, not a great way to get self-care. If I read a book that teaches me a lot and then I put that into practice, now that was beneficial, and that is self-care. So I think, if you're questioning it, a lot of things, hey, I'm going to go out partying with my friends because it helps me relax. Again, not self-care, because it is anything you overindulge in. You go out once is fine, but if you start going out every single week to then take care of it, you're placating it. You're putting a Band-Aid on a problem. So we want to make sure that we are going about it in the right way. Here's the hard one, guys. How do we practice self-care? Well, for me as a mom, I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't. I never took care of myself. I raised my children. I became a caregiver for my son when he became paralyzed at 21. I became a caregiver for my father-in-law in a lot of ways when he had cancer. Taking them back and forth to doctor appointments and stuff and making sure they have what they need and whatnot. Not the only one, but I did a lot of that. And then, I was a CNA. And so I'm taking care of all these people, not once to take care of myself. And my idea of self-care was push through. Just push through. This is your job. You got it. Just do it. And what happened is I was surviving. I had lost who I was because I wasn't anymore. I was just pushing through for everybody else. So if you do not practice self-care, you end up lost. You end up not even having a life. You are surviving. You're trying to overcome each morning, each day, each moment. So you've got to have self-care. So to practice self-care, I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be for a lot of you. Give yourself permission to. Sounds simple, I know, but it was the hardest thing ever for me. My son is still in a wheelchair and I still do things for him, but I've given myself permission to live my life, to do things for me, and we're both happier, right? First off, he quit being my center of everything because I had more to life than just being there to take care of him, and he grew. But it was a hard thing. It was the whole, I want to give him the oxygen mask first, right? So give yourself permission, or you're never going to be able to take care of your loved ones the way you want to. And then, you've got to look at your overall health. Where is it at? If you do not know your health, you got to stop and really just take note of it. Because if you are not healthy, you are not going to be able to take care of others. So you're not going to be able to be your best at anything. So start looking at your health and see where it's at, and then decide what to do about it. You got to identify your stressors, right? If you do not know what is stressing you out, what is going to be the thing that puts you over the top, how are you going to prevent it? You're not. And you're just going to keep in this vicious cycle because you don't realize the thing that is putting you over the top. And it sounds like we all should know our stressors, but honestly, we don't always, because sometimes we get so caught up in surviving that we don't look for the cause. We don't look to see what's put us in survival mode and what's going to put us back there tomorrow. We just go, how do I put one foot in front of the other, right? And so we're going to keep on this vicious cycle until we take control. And that is part of self-care, is looking at the cycle you are on and saying, stop. We're going to see what triggers it, and we're going to prevent those triggers. So identifying your stressors is huge. And like I said, so many things we do out of just habit, that we've done it this way for so long, we don't even realize it's a stressor, until you take that moment to really look at your life and evaluate everything. You may not be aware of what some of your stressors are. And then when you go, how could I not have known that? That's normal. That's life. Don't beat yourself up over it, because we all go through there. And then identify your coping strategies. Think about that. How do I cope when life becomes too much? This is really important, because some of our ways of coping are great. Some of our ways are not so great, and we got to identify so that we can take and make sure all of our coping mechanisms are great, are healthy, are something that is going to benefit us, not something that is going to hurt us in the long run. Alcohol, drugs, those are coping mechanisms. They're not great. Down the road, they're probably going to cause us more stress in the long run, right? Those are going to definitely take a toll on our self-care, because eventually they're going to cause health issues, who knows what else. So we need to see what our mechanisms for coping are and say, unhealthy, got to get rid of it. Ooh, this is a good one. I need to do more of it, that taking inventory of your thoughts, of your body, of your mindset is huge. And I think that's such a huge part of self-care. I really want you guys to be mindful in your day-to-day actions, and be intentional with your reactions. We have one life. And while we can learn from what we're doing, if we don't learn from what we're doing, we're wasting that life. We are never going to be who we are meant to be. We are never going to help our families become who they are meant to be, because we pass our beliefs, our knowledge, our habits down to our children, onto our families, right? And so if you're that mom who's telling yourself why you don't have time for self-care, who's telling yourself why it's selfish to be doing self-care, you are teaching that to your children. You are teaching them that it is never okay to take care of themselves so they can be better for other people. We don't want to do that. We want to break that cycle. My mom, most amazing woman I've ever known, never once put herself first. Never once. And I have a lot that I have learned from her, a lot I want to emulate of her. But that's the one thing I wish I didn't get from her. She put everybody first, and you knew how loved you were by her. But she went 25 years without getting a new dress for Christmas. Or not Christmas, for church. 25 years. She put everybody over her and didn't do the basics for herself. Even when she got old, I know she felt blessed in this life. And I know she was an amazing human being. But I know if she had learned it was okay to do things for her, she would have taught us a very, not only valuable lesson, but it would have reminded us of our worth. You don't realize that when you put you last, you're teaching your children to put themselves last. And what does that say? I have no value. I have no worth. We don't want to teach our children that. It has taken me decades to learn my value. It has taken me decades to learn my worth. If you taking care of yourself can teach your children their worth, wow. Seriously, guys, I owe my children such an apology because I did not teach them so many things in life because I was surviving. Because I was just trying to get through. I wasn't taking care of me. So I implore you, take the time, even if it's 5 minutes a day, even if it's 10 minutes a day, maybe it's that half-hour walk you take, and invest in yourself. And do not apologize for it. That's something I'm still working on, but I'm getting so much better, and I'm learning not to apologize as much. But I'm a better wife, I'm a better mom, and I'm a better grandma when I indulge myself in self-care. And it really isn't an indulgence. It really isn't. But that's what I believed for so long. I was being selfish if I did it. You're not. You're being the most unselfish you can be because you are going to give them the best you possible. So take a few minutes every day. Take a half hour every day. Even if it means you put your alarm half hour early and you get up just to have a cup of coffee by yourself and read a book or listen to a podcast or take a walk. Just know that investment pays off. You deserve it. And these holidays get crazy and emotional and stressful. So start your day without it, without the emotions, without the stress, and be you for just a half hour. Just sit in stillness and deep breaths and just feel who you are and appreciate yourself for who you are. Appreciate things about you. Guys, I hope that you remember you are worth this and your children are worth this.
Hey, thank you for having watched that episode of Dreams Don't Expire. I'm just Janae, reminding you this is your time to rise. Your time to believe in who you are, to become who you are meant to be. So get up, go after those dreams, because guess what? You deserve them.